What is this curl? I had a hard time trying to figure out what to talk about in this vlog. Today, it is December 29th, and a lot of people are posting like New Year's resolution, end of year topics. Honestly, I think for majority of January, I'll talk about like how I did my vision board, the books I read in 2025. And for this one, I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to post it on time, so I typically post every Thursday at 12 p.m. I'm usually editing by this time and I'm vlogging, so we'll see. For this vlog specifically, I wanted to talk about my wins and losses, or basically the things I'm proud of and the things I'm not so proud of. This year, I actually have a note on my phone where I wrote down each thing I was proud of, or each thing I manifested, each thing that I was celebrating. It basically helps train my brain, or if you do this, your brain, that it's okay to celebrate yourself. We're used to pointing out all the negatives. For this, I'm able to see like, oh yeah, this happened in January, this happened in March. I'm really proud that I did that. I'm a lot more attentive to be like celebrating myself and other people. I'm not gonna go through all 12 months. I have 5 specifically that I kind of summarized, and I have 3, I guess, like things I'm not so proud of. I'm gonna see how fast I can record this because I do want to edit this today, and I'm losing daylight. The first thing I'm proud of, my first win, is that I started fostering kittens. I got featured in the Dodo, I think 3 times. I want to mention that I actually started fostering kittens technically late last year, and it just kind of went into 2025. But what happened last year, I worked at a kitten rescue. The location at the time was at a mall. Long story short, someone abandoned kittens in the parking lot. The rescue I work at isn't a shelter where we can just take on every cat. We don't have the correct medical equipment. Like, we're literally mainly an adoption agency. Shelters will reach out to us. If we can take them, we'll do it. We have a foster program, which leads me to the next thing. So I asked my bosses. Thankfully, they said it was all right. Like, was asking our fosters, like, hey, can anyone take these 6 kittens? I just had like a really strong pull to just take them. And that's how I became a foster mother of 6 Rays of Darkness. They're so cute. December 5th-ish, that was like the first day we got them. And then I posted a video, and that video went so viral. I had traction for like, I think the first half of the year, I think. So I posted it in December, and I stopped getting notifications in like July or August. It got over 20 million views, and that's basically how the Dodo reached out to me. First, it was an article, and then the second time it was a video. Like, being on the Dodo was not on my bucket list or my bingo card for this year. Oh my god, I just realized it was getting progressively darker in this room. I don't know how recent it was. Maybe like 2 to 3 months ago, they posted a longer video on YouTube, which I can share. Obviously, this was a great experience for me. Like, I've literally been asking the cat distribution system to come my way for months, years even. I don't know if I mentioned already, but this was my first time fostering. And in the beginning, I was 100% a hover mom. I was super anxious. I had to learn how to relax a little bit. I had to get better time management. Like, I literally wouldn't leave the house because like, no, I'm gonna stay with them. I'm gonna watch them, make sure they're okay. I also learned like a bigger sense of responsibility, like suddenly becoming a foster mom of like little babies. This experience also taught me just how bittersweet life can be. Like, when I dropped them off at my work, so after I was done fostering, they get released to the floor. I honestly was fine. That entire day, I was like mentally preparing for this day. I had them for 2 months. They just kept running back to my boyfriend. They were scared. Of course, it's a different environment. I knew this was gonna happen. I see it all the time. I felt like I was abandoning them, which I know I fucking wasn't. Like, I knew me bringing them to my work, that was the task, that was the objective. I'm fostering them until they're ready to find their forever homes. When we left, God, I cried. I literally cried for 3 fucking days, probably 4. I just felt this weird grief. I knew they were very much alive. I knew they were only 45 minutes from where I live, but I was just so sad. But good news is that they all got adopted out within like 3 to 4 weeks of being on the floor. And because of them, I actually fostered 2 more litters. It is really fun, but it is a lot of work. Just being a foster mom. I've learned to bottle feed them, so did my boyfriend. My cat's still not really used to me fostering, but they kind of handle it, or deal with it, I mean. Just the hardest thing for me is that learning to just love unconditionally and then learning to let go. That's the job, you know, we're just gotta prep them for their real home. Ugh, makes me sad. The second thing I'm proud of, or my second win, is that I beached really hard this last summer, and I remembered I love the water. For my 30th birthday, I just wanted to relax, so we went to San Diego with an intimate group of friends. Excuse me. But before this, I have not been to an actual like warm beach in years. I'm saying warm because I live really close to Ocean Beach. That's not the same. It's not the same thing. When we went, it was just, it like hit me in the face how much I loved being in the water. Like I love being in the sand. Like I built a sandcastle. I bought bubbles. I bought like a fake football. We actually went to a good amount of beaches this year. So like Oceanside, La Jolla. I don't remember the rest of the beaches. I even swam at Alameda Beach. I swam at Stinson Beach. It was freezing. It felt more like a cold plunge. We also went up to Sac and went down the river in a raft, which I've never done before. Water was freezing, but it was like 110 degrees that day and I roasted. Because of that, it's like one of the reasons why I'm taking swim classes. I am now learning how to swim, which that in itself is another vlog when I'm done. I don't know when that's gonna be. For the last few years, before my 30th birthday, I've been throwing like parties for myself. So for my 29th birthday, I actually got a Hello Kitty jumper and I had my pole out. I don't really pole dance anymore. The year before, we got a boat and then we had another house party. I don't remember what we did the years before that, but originally my plan for my 30th birthday was to actually rent a bar or a warehouse and just have like a massive party. Obviously my immediate friends were gonna come. I was gonna post it on my Instagram, like inviting all my clients. Whoever was following me could go. I remember before I used to really want attention, and I admit sometimes I still do. I'm a Leo and a girl, so I get it. I never really liked posting about my birthday. Maybe that's also trauma. I like keeping most things to myself unless it's something I really want to share. And throughout the year, I realized I didn't want just superficial friendships anymore. Like I only wanted to keep friendships that were valuable, meaningful, that were growing together, you know? And I was just outgrowing a lot of people, or I noticed things just weren't clicking like they used to. So after that, I decided who was in my intimate circle. I just started creating habits that were more, I guess, beneficial, more valuable. I started to lean more into connection, relaxation, value, growth, blah, 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 blah. Oh my God, it's getting pretty dark in here, but I like this lighting. My third win is actually related to Adobe Max, and it was learning how to pivot, basically. And this is a tangent, kind of. I got invited to Adobe Max this year, and if you don't know what that is, it is the world's largest creativity conference. Actually, I don't know if it's the world's, I think I'm just saying that, but it's a large creativity conference. No, they did not pay for my flight or hotel. I was invited as a guest, so they just caught my ticket, which I'm so grateful for. It's still really cool. And my main takeaway was that there were just so many people who literally just followed their gut, or like they followed what they wanted to be doing. They were quitting their jobs, they were going back to school, they were just like following their purpose. And people were just choosing to change paths or like pivot, what I mentioned earlier, because what they were doing previously was either sucking the soul out of them. They didn't like doing it. It just wasn't aligned with them. And I just thought that was so inspiring. I can proudly say that I also did that, where I impulsively quit my job in August of 2020. At the moment, like I feel like I'm pivoting again because I still want a tattoo, but I don't know. There's just a lot I want to do. I just don't want to put myself in a box. Going back to the topic of New Year's, or if people are just changing career paths or just life paths in general, people tend to say they're starting over almost with like a negative connotation with it, which I don't really understand why, because that just means you're about to grow in a way that you never have before, and you're embarking on a journey with like all the information you already have. It doesn't mean like it's a complete blank slate. You're not going back to the womb. In 2024, when I started getting less and less bookings, I felt like a failure. I felt like I was taking 3 steps back, but I did not think I was coming from a blank slate. It just meant that whatever information I had at that time is not working anymore. I already had a lot of information and knowledge then. This just means that something's changing. That's okay. That's just how life works. Like you grow in discomfort, unfortunately and fortunately. Also, side note, on my way to Adobe Max, I drove from San Francisco to LA. My car stopped on the freeway in Valencia. Like all my lights turned on like a Christmas tree. I just signed up for AAA. It was my first time getting towed. I got towed from Valencia to Glendale. And yes, I was indeed very scared. My nervous system was out of whack. But behold, new information and knowledge that I can use in the future if that happens again, which I hope it doesn't. My fourth win, the fourth thing I'm proud of, is my healing journey this year. Beginning of the year, from January to February, I started working with a trauma coach, and now I am back in therapy. Obviously, the win here is that I'm healing, I'm processing, I'm growing. I grew up with a lot of violence, a lot of abuse. We were poor. I'm not gonna trauma dump right now. Maybe I will at some point. I do want to talk about my story. It's taken me a long time to understand and accept that I had to endure everything I did to become the person I am today. Now I'm just learning to process things in a healthier way. Okay, side note, I wanted to include this story. So earlier this year, I was getting my hair done and my stylist started to vent to me about his relationship at the time. More background is that we have never once talked about our personal lives. It was almost strictly professional. They were just asking for my advice. And before I answered, I was like, so like, what made you want to tell me? First, they said most artists they know have given them pretty good advice. And I was like, okay, valid. I understand that. And then they said, usually someone who is covered in tattoos wouldn't have had a happy childhood. And I was like, and then they explained it's not like to be offensive. It's just they knew what I went through probably made me a stronger person. Consequently, I give better advice. But I was like, why would you call me out like this while cutting my hair? Anyway, next one. My camera overheated and I just massaged a knot out of my boyfriend's shoulder. It's still there, but I helped a little bit. But my fifth win, the fifth thing I'm proud of, is that I turned 30 this year. I've only been 30 for like 4 months, but I love it. And I genuinely don't get why people are scared of turning 30. And I don't get why, no, I do understand why people are scared of turning old. At first I was like, why are people scared? Because that's like the entire thing, like human life, is to grow, age, experience life. But then I realized it's just people are scared of turning old because they're afraid they haven't lived life. But that's another tangent. Because now that I'm 30, I can, at least at the moment, I'm able to do what I want, most of what I want. I have actual life experience. I have adult money. I get to tattoo my art onto people, and that's like one of my livings. I work with kittens all the time. I'm very grateful for my life. I don't know, it was weird. Just the closer I got to 30, something shifted and I was just a lot more relaxed. And going back to what I said for my healing journey, as much as I'm welcoming myself into this new decade of mine, I had to learn a lot in my last one. Like in my 20s, God, it was filled with heartbreak, a lot of toxicity, unlearning those habits, graduating, discovering who I am, who I want to be. And again, I had to go through all of that to become the 30-year-old I am today. I don't know. I'm just excited to be 30 and what's to come for the next couple years. Now moving forward with things I'm not so proud of, and there's 3. And the first one is time. This year, I just feel like I wasted a lot of time on my phone, specifically doom scrolling. I don't really go on my phone that much. I was very mindful this year to just be more intentional with my phone usage. And don't get me wrong, there were still days where like I spent an hour on TikTok. Looking back at my year, I just know there are plenty of moments where I could have just been playing with my cats, walking outside, touching grass, even drawing more, being present in general. I just try to do things that aren't strictly social media, and it's hard because my jobs are literally social media focused. Now when I'm on my phone, like I pay attention to time. With TikTok specifically, that's the hardest one for me, where I'm like, okay, I have until, say it's 11 o'clock, I have until 11:10, and I know if I pass that like 11:15 mark, I'm in too deep. I'm usually reading, learning about something, listening to a podcast, watching a show, reading manga, journaling, just anything that isn't social media. I'm just doing my best to be creating more rather than consuming. The second thing that I'm not really proud of this year is just how I was with money. I was pretty irresponsible. Ironically enough, one of my biggest resolutions was to get my finances straight. Long story short, I put myself into debt. More than I already was because I have student loans. And to be fair, my student loans aren't that high, but debt is still debt. Basically, me adding more into the negatives, it just caused a bunch of overwhelm, a lot of emotions that I was suppressing. I just ignored all of it. I would pay my necessities, so I'd pay rent, utilities, stuff that I needed to pay for. But when it came to my loans and everything, I just ignored. Shit just piled up. My credit score was dropping. I was getting notifications left and right. I knew it was late. It got to the point where I had to ask multiple friends for help for rent, the loans, my bills, and thankfully that hasn't happened in a couple months. I'm very grateful to my friends who helped me. They know who they are. I also realized I was super stressed about it all the time. I worried about money all the time. I worried if I was getting booked, if I was gonna pay rent. And if you're into spirituality and personal development like me, focusing on stress just causes more stress. So I did a lot of money belief work, money and mindset work around it. I feel like I've been doing this work for a not long time, for I would say 2 to 3 years. But I think this year I finally understand what they mean when they say you need to live what you learn, not just understand the concepts, just being it. I'm on track with most of my debt, still working on it, of course. I have a calendar of all the expenses I have. I check my accounts every day. I know what's coming in, what's going out. I also don't impulsively spend anymore. I bought 2 cameras. I took my time thinking about getting those cameras. Before, I would just buy it like that. I literally waited like a week for each one. But comparing it to last year, I think I dropped 6K on fucking anime figures, which I fucking sold. Like, I didn't need to do that. You know? I just wanted because I had adult money and I could get your money mindset stuff worked on. I don't know. I'm really proud of where I am. This year really woke me up because I did want to change the situation I was in. I do want a different financial situation. But the only way to change that is to acknowledge what I was currently going through. And you can't change what you don't acknowledge. The third thing that I'm not the most proud of is related to regret and guilt. This year, I regret not visiting my mom. I have not seen her since 2023. When I think about it, okay, in 2024, I don't think I was in the space to see her. Also, financially, I didn't think I could do it. I was barely affording rent. And this year, yeah, things were better. Financially, still a bit rocky, but I knew I probably could have seen her. I just didn't plan around it. And just saying that out loud just makes me feel like a shitty daughter. It's also probably fear. It's for sure fear. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. My mom, my family, we've gone through a lot. Because of that, I feel like I still hold a lot of resentment towards my mom. I don't always want to see her because of that. And again, that's why I'm in therapy. Sorry, this is hard. But I want to talk about it. It's also probably because I don't want to see her age. Choosing to not see it makes it less painful. Sorry, I'm trying not to cry. I also regret taking time for granted. I'm saying this not just because everyone's aging. Like, yeah, that happens, but earlier this month, my last childhood dog passed away. So we had 9 dogs growing up. Yeah, I know it's a lot. My mom was basically like Filipino Snow White, and animals loved her, and we basically took on dogs where families didn't want them anymore, or they were in abusive situations. My last one that passed, his name was Bronson, and he was, I thought putting makeup on would help me not cry. I loved Bronson. We had like a connection. Like, out of all my dogs, I always had him around. I even drove him up to San Francisco one year just to hang out. I even considered keeping him after graduating, but I knew it wouldn't make sense because he would go from 8 siblings to none, and I didn't want to take that away from him. And then when my mom moved out, it was just even harder because all the animals had to go. That's another story. And when I found out he passed away, I had the biggest feeling of guilt. And obviously grief, because I literally remember saying in 2023 when I last visited, when I was saying bye to everyone, I remember saying to him, I love you. I'm coming back. Please wait. And it didn't come back. Sorry. Around this time, when we visited, I was able to say goodbye to my grandma, who had dementia, and she actually passed away in February 2024. So I'm glad I was able to say bye to her. But with my dog, I sound funny, but with Bronson, I just was ignorant, or like I was choosing ignorance. I think I'm using that correctly, where I just believed he was gonna live up to 20 years old. To be fair, he was 16, which is a long time for a Jack Russell Terrier still. And I just thought he'd always be there. He was such a funny little round guy. Just loved life and loved everyone. And I just had this repeated thought of I should have visited earlier. I should have visited earlier. I had the time. I had the money. And it was just all this regret. pouring down on me. Sometimes I have these thoughts of like, what if he was waiting and he just couldn't anymore? I don't know if he's thinking that way. And I was just choosing to believe that he was always going to be with my mom, that he was always going to be alive. Obviously, I was wrong. I'm gonna get a little spiritual here. After I learned that he passed away, it felt like I could hear him and I could feel him and I could see him everywhere. It was just a mix of grief, sadness, regret, guilt. Like exploding. And just gradually, it felt like his little Bronson spirit was gradually fading away. Like as I was feeling better, I didn't like that. I really thought I wouldn't cry. I'm still gonna post this, even though I cried. Now into the new year, I do plan on visiting my mom. I'm not sure when, probably around spring or early summer. I also want to just make more time for family in general, like visiting my brothers, and just really be present with everyone I love, including my pets. That's all I have for today. I'm glad I was able to record this in a couple hours, which is still a lot, but whatever. I just wanted to say thank you for watching and listening. I hope you had a great year and an even better 2026. Thank you.